If the Defender is the quintessential Land Rover, then Sani Pass has to be the iconic mountain pass of Southern Africa. And just like the Defender, which of course is under threat and in fact has now ceased production, Sani Pass might well be something of the past, at least from the adventurer's point of view.
That's right, because for a long time there's been talk about tarring Sani Pass, and while that makes a lot of sense in terms of transport between the regions, it takes what is a bit of a bucket list route and turns it into an everyday drive. So we thought, what better way to say goodbye to an iconic car than taking it on an iconic drive through the high altitude twists and turns of Sani Pass.
Not that much has changed since Maurice Wilks used surplus aircraft aluminium and Rover mechanicals to create a tough, basic post-war workhorse called the Land Rover Series 1, the ancestor of what we've come to know as the Land Rover Defender. It made its debut in 1948 and would continue in uninterrupted production, albeit through many evolutions and improvements, until the last Defender rolled off the production line in Solihull in January 2016, 68 years later.
It was during the early years of the Series 1 that Sani Pass, linking Mokotlong in the mountain kingdom of Lesotho with the KwaZulu-Natal Midlands towns of Heimville and Underberg, was constructed. More than 6 decades later, it remains a must-drive pass for local and international off-road enthusiasts, especially in winter. And the Defender remains a perennial favourite to tackle its snaking high-altitude challenges.
No other vehicle epitomizes the spirit of adventure as succinctly and as authentically as the Land Rover Defender. In fact, it has a reputation for conquering impossible terrain that stretches across the globe. When tourists come to Africa, they believe the safari experience should be had behind the wheel and on the back of a Land Rover Defender. And everybody from the military to overlanders to rescue organizations still rely on the Defender when things get tough.
But now it's got to the point where Land Rover have decided to retire the Defender, and that's a decision that must have been very tough considering the entire brand has been built on what those cars can do. The last production models of the Defender have already rolled off the production line at Solihull, but we've managed to secure 2 special editions for a farewell trip that we think will be quite special in itself.
Celebrating the almost unequalled success of what is still to many the only authentic Land Rover, these 2 special limited edition models are the last of their kind. They are known as the Defender Adventure Edition and the Defender Heritage Edition respectively, and they each adopt a very different approach.
Either way, they were produced in very limited numbers. Only 35 fully kitted Adventure Edition examples were offered for sale in South Africa across both the 90 and longer wheelbase 110 station wagon body style, while the nostalgia-tinged Heritage Edition is a little less exclusive with 180 units on offer, 50 short wheelbase 90s and 130 110 versions.
So, besides the fact that these 2 vehicles represent the last of the Defender breed, what makes them so special? Well, this Grassmere green version here is known as the Heritage Edition. And as you can see, the emphasis very much on authenticity, on nostalgia, and of course, on heritage. You see it in elements like the traditional colour-coded grille, that white roof, and also the large steel wheels.
Back in the late 1940s, various shades of light green were synonymous with the Land Rover Series 1 because that's all that was available in post-war Britain. Juxtaposed with a white roof, the effect is both eye-catching and nostalgic. If you're wondering about the HUE 166 designation on the front fenders, they're a reference to the registration plate of the original 1947 Series 1 prototype. You'll also note the retro-style aluminium badging, the clear indicator lenses, silver front bumper and silver door hinges. Inside, the cabin is pure Defender, as expected. That big steering wheel feels almost too close to the driving position, the switchgear arrangement isn't exactly ergonomically efficient, and the overall look and feel is rather industrial by modern standards. The Heritage version gets special canvas seat covers with HUE 166 tags and a colour-coded centre stack. I wonder what Maurice Wilks would have thought of the Brightwork-trimmed gear lever, air vents and door handles, let alone mod-cons like air conditioning and central locking.
If the Heritage Edition is all about nostalgia and tradition, well, then the Adventure Edition is more about exclusivity and off-road ability. Our test car features a black and white paint job, but you can also opt for silver or orange. Eye-catching alloys, projector-style headlamps and underbody protection are also part of the Adventure package. As mentioned, only 15 Adventure Edition Defender 90s and 20 Adventure Edition Defender 110s were offered locally, making this the investor's choice. There's contrasting black paint for the grille and grille surround, the bonnet, the roof and the rear door, as well as the wheel arches and the headlamp surrounds. Those special gloss black 16-inch alloy wheels are shod with tougher specification 6-ply off-road tyres. In fact, despite all the fancy bits, the Adventure is specifically kitted out for the rough stuff, as confirmed by the extra scuff plates. The interior's focus, however, is on plush luxury, at least by Defender standards. Note the high-backed seats, the leather upholstery with contrasting stitching for the seats, door panels and grab handles, the gloss black centre stack and the black roof lining. Being a 110, the longer wheelbase equates to more interior space, including a decent rear bench seat and 2 occasional fold-up seats in the cargo bay. However, these two vehicles remain quintessentially Land Rover, and despite all the trimmings, their primary focus remains on taking their occupants places where normal vehicles would never dare to follow.